Oh boy, don't we have a good one lined up for you today? For those who don't know, Shabir Ally, he was on the Kenny Bomer platform, but Kenny Bomer's new name is Kenny Cupcake Bomer because he is a known coward. Recently, he was on the Sam Shamoon platform, and Sam Shamoon was asking him some questions. And to divert from the questions that Sam Shamoon was asking him, Kenny Cupcake Bomer was bringing up, I won't debate you unless you box me. What kind of stuff is that? Unless you box me. But that's not what we're here for today. Kenny Cupcake Bomer, like I said, he had Dr. Shabir Ally on his platform, the doctor of Islamic stupidity. Shabir Ally was on his platform, and they made fools of themselves. And we're going to show you how, even though Kenny Bomer, he wouldn't let me in the debate because he opened up the platform on StreamYard, and I was in the back room, and I was sending him private text messages, and I was like, Kenny, let me in, you coward. Why are you so afraid to let me in? For those who don't know, I have appeared on the Kenny Bomer platform on several different occasions, and each time I got them busted, and I have all of the evidence on my channel. So recently, Kenny has started to ignore me, and he doesn't like to comment to what I say because he knows that the best way to deal with Brother Jacob is just to give him the silent treatment, because he, out of everybody that he has invited to his platform, he fears me the most because he knows the things that I say will shake up the panel. He never knows what I will say because I'm always studying, and the questions that I have, it throws him off guard, and he always ends up stuttering and fumbling over his words, trying to think of a clever way to get out of it. And his favorite thing to say when he finds himself in a jam, he says, Alhamdulillah. Or he'll say, truth makes clear from error. That's what he does to try to make it seem like he's on top of the conversation and that he is actually winning when actually he isn't. He never wins a debate when he is up against a well-studied person like myself. Not bragging or anything, but I'm just telling you the truth. But anyway, I'm about to show you a clip, and then I'm going to show you hadith references where Kenny Bomer and Shabir Ally both made fools of themselves. So here we go.
Even close.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling that it seems to be, no offense to anyone, I mean, obviously, but it seems just to be a desperate attempt to try to find something wrong with the Quran. But by the wisdom of Allah, I mean, like I mentioned, it's July 7th, 2020, and we're talking about the preservation of the Quran that has been promised by Allah. Not only by the text, but the recitation. And I think sometimes people are overlooking that fact, and the fact that millions of Muslims, I mean, I'm from Texas, I can go anywhere, and if I make a mistake in reciting the Quran, which I'm subject to do.
Notice he said, if he makes a mistake, which he is subject to do. Keep that in your mind.
They're going to correct me. No, it doesn't matter what country I go to.
He said, if he makes a mistake, which he is subject to do, the people, the other Muslims, they are going to correct him. But let's keep listening.
Happens, alhamdulillah. So
yeah, and Brother Kenny, I mean, you're a good Muslim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. I too make mistakes, and so maybe a Muslim may simplistic.
Now Shabir Ally just made a fool of himself, and we're going to show you why. He said that he also makes mistakes. Okay, but let's let them continue to dig a hole for themselves.
think, okay, we have so many Muslim Hufaz around and anyone can go and write the Quran and it will be perfect and so on. But no, what Muslims will observe that, if you have an Imam leading the night prayers in a mosque in which he will recite 1/30th part of the Quran, each night from memory until the entire book is completed in 30 days. Now, that Imam could actually make a mistake. Usually,
that Imam could actually make a mistake. Mistake, i.e., means that Imam could forget or make a slip up. Mistake, forget is the same thing. But let's let them continue to dig a hole for themselves.
Usually, there are 2 or 3 other persons who have also memorized the Quran, and they will prompt him, and also from memory.
Sure.
You hear him? So if the Imam forgets a part of the surah, there are 2 or 3 more Muslims who will prompt him and correct him. Let's let them continue to dig a hole for themselves.
Powerful process to behold. And so it's not that one Imam will have it perfect, but in the collective work, they get it right.
It's not that one Imam will have it perfect. So if one Imam forgets, it's okay because someone else will remind him about what he forgot.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if they sit down together as a committee and try to rewrite the text, then, that will be more dependable than if one person does it. And so over time, we have had...
if they sit down as a committee or collective, that will be more dependable than one Muslim by themselves trying to remember it and trying to write it down by themselves.
Writings which may have been produced by individuals, which could be mistaken. But when that work was done collectively by the committee that was commissioned by Uthman radiallahu anh, the Muslims naturally have more confidence in that because it was produced by a committee, then it will, it will be more assured that this is the proper rendition of that Quran, which was recited by our Prophet Muhammad, peace.
Now, let's go back to the most damaging part, because I wanted you all to hear what he had to say. So when I show you, it will be without a shadow of a doubt that they admit that if something is forgotten, that somebody will correct it. But we're going to show you that the person who caused them to forget or to make the mistake was Allah himself. And we're going to show you the hadith, and we're going to show you how Kenny, Cupcake, Bomer just admitted something, and we're going to show you they admitted something without even knowing it about themselves. Both him and this fool Shabir Ally that's sitting next to him, they both worship Satan. They both are ignorant, because how can you be a doctor studying the stupidity of Islam? How can you spend most of your life studying the crap and garbage of Islam? He is a fool. Shabir Ally is a fool, just like Kenny Bomer is a fool. Let's hear what he had to say again, and then I'm going to show you the hadiths.
Nowhere even close.
It's mind-boggling that it seems to be, no offense to anyone, I mean, obviously, but it seems just to be a desperate attempt to try to find something wrong with the Quran. But by the wisdom of Allah, I mean, like I mentioned, it's July 7th, 2020, and we're talking about the preservation of the Quran that has been promised by Allah. Not only by the text, but the recitation. And I think sometimes people are overlooking that fact, and the fact that millions of Muslims, I mean, I'm from Texas, I can go anywhere, and if I make a mistake in reciting the Quran, which I'm subject to do, they're going to correct me. No, it doesn't matter what country I go to when this happens. Alhamdulillah. So
yeah, and Brother Kenny, I mean, you're a good Muslim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. I too make mistakes, and so maybe a Muslim.
That's all I needed for him to say. I too make mistakes. So him and Kenny both admitted that when they forget parts of the Quran, that they are the ones responsible for those mistakes. And another thing that Kenny Bomer said is that Allah promised the preservation of the Quran. Okay? But if that's the case, Kenny Cupcake Bomer, then I want you to tell us, where is the verse on stoning? What happened to that verse? Can any of you Muslims today recite the verse on stoning that is not in your Quran? But that's not what this video is about. As I promised you, we're about to show you how Kenny Bomer and Shabir Ally, the two fools that's in front of you right now, how they both made a fool of themselves. Let's show you. So Kenny, you are a very smart man when it comes to the aspect. You stupid when it comes to everything else, far as religion and everything. But when it comes to you keeping Brother Jacob from off the panel, you are very smart, Kenny, because you already know what will happen if you allow Brother Jacob onto the panel. You made that mistake the last time, and you're not trying to do that again. I caused too much ruckus in your room. Your little lies, they can't fly when Brother Jacob is in the arena. So let me show you all. Let me show you how this guy made a fool of himself. Let's go to Sunnah.com. Let's show you. Because you know, Brother Jacob, when I tell you something, I'm not going to, let's show you. Now, this is Sunnah.com. As you see, even the title says, look at the subheading, chapter 33, the command to keep refreshing one's knowledge of the Quran, and that it is disliked to say, I have forgotten such and such a verse, but it is permissible to say, I have been caused to forget. So let's read what their stupid prophet Muhammad had to say. The little pedophile, the one named Muhammad. Let's see what this little pedophile had to say. Ibn Masud reported Satan's messenger as saying, wretched is the man, you see that? Wretched is the man who says, I forgot such and such a surah, or I forgot such and such a verse, but he has been made to forget. Boom, busted. So when Kenny Bomer, the Cupcake, and Shabir, the doctor of stupidity, said that they both make mistakes, they lied upon their prophet, because their prophet says that they are not the ones who made the mistake or forgot the parts that they say was the mistake. No, Allah is the one who made them forget. Let's read it. Ibn Masud reported Satan's messenger as saying, wretched is the man who says, I forgot such and such a surah, or I forget such and such a verse, but he has been made to forget. Okay? So it's not that they made the mistake, it was Allah. Okay? And we're gonna further prove it, that it was Allah's doing. Okay? Let's pull it up. Chapter 26, forgetting the Quran, and can one say, I forgot such and such a verse? Kenny Bomer, look what it says. This is even in the subheading. Chapter 26, forgetting the Quran, and can one say, I forgot such and such a verse? So Kenny Bomer, you can't say that. It was Allah who caused you to forget. So you didn't make a mistake, Cupcake. Your God caused you to make that mistake and forget. So let's read what it says. Narrated Abdullah. The Prophet said, why does any one of the people say, I have forgotten such and such verses of the Quran? He, in fact, is caused by Allah to forget. So thank you very much for making a fool of yourself, you and Shabir Ally. And let's just play it again. Let's just play it again. Thank you very much for doing that.
Nowhere even close.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling that
Oh, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Why is it so mind-boggling? It's mind-boggling.
It seems to be, no offense to anyone, I mean, obviously, but it seems just to be
it's mind-boggling to us that you are sitting here lying and trying to say the Quran is preserved when Yazir Quadri admitted that there is holes in the narrative. Okay, that's what's mind-boggling to us. It's mind-boggling that you say the Quran is preserved, but you can't recite to us the verses on stoning. That's what's mind-boggling, Kenny Cupcake. But let's complete this video.
desperate attempt to try to find something wrong with the Quran. But by the wisdom of Allah, I mean, like I mentioned,
that's not very hard to do. I can show you hundreds of things that's wrong with the Quran. Hundreds of things that's wrong with the Quran. So it's not even, as soon as you open up the Quran, it's something wrong with it. It's a lie from the first page. So that's not nothing hard.
And it's July 7th, 2020, and we're talking about the preservation of the Quran that has been promised by Allah. Not only by the.
And it's funny, these Muslims are saying that the Quran is preserved, but they don't even have the original manuscripts of Uthman that was standardized. So how can they say that their recitation is preserved when they don't even have the original manuscript to go by, to compare the recitation that they do to the original Uthmanic manuscripts? They don't have no copies of the original Uthmanic manuscript. They don't have it, period. And also, those old manuscripts that they don't have any diacritical markings. So in Arabic, one dot can change the entire meaning of the word. So if there are no dots, if there are no diacritical marks, then how do they know what the text is saying? So they don't even, so when they make these claims about recitation and all of this is just hogwash.
Text, but the recitation. And I think sometimes people are overlooking that fact, and the fact that millions of Muslims, I mean, I'm from Texas, I can go anywhere, and if I make a mistake in reciting the Quran, which I'm subject to do.
He said, you're not subject to. It's Allah that's causing you to make that mistake. He's the one that's causing you to forget. You're not subject to do it. You're saying basically that what Allah is subject to do. Let's get it right. What Allah is subject to make you forget. So let's get it right.
They're going to correct me. No, it doesn't matter what country I go to when this happens. Alhamdulillah. So
yeah, and Brother Kenny, I mean, you're a good Muslim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. I too make mistakes. And so maybe a Muslim may simplistically think, okay, we have so many Muslim huffaz around, and anyone can go and write the Quran, and it will be perfect and so on. But no, what Muslims will observe that, if you have an imam leading the night prayers in a mosque, and in which he will recite.
And let me touch on one more thing that he was speaking about.
And that's our belief. We believe in this as the Quran is the word of God. We don't really believe in a particular manuscript. So if it shows that an old manuscript has a variant or has a mistake, this is nothing new, because in the ancient world, this is natural. And when you say...
You see what he's doing now? He's talking about, since the latest admittance of Yazir Quadri, now what Shabir Ally was just explaining is that he's trying to get away from what Muslims have always been saying. They've always been saying, now correct me if I'm wrong, we've all heard them say it, that the Quran has been preserved down to the single dot. Okay? So what Shabir Ally was up here saying is that you don't have to, those manuscripts don't matter. It's the recitation that matters. But that's not what the Muslims have been saying. That's not the rhetoric that they've been telling us. That's the same rhetoric that Kenny Bomer was saying, that the Quran has been preserved down to the dot. A dot is located on the manuscript. The dot, they said, has been preserved down to the letter, not the recitation. They was actually talking about the manuscripts. But now Shabir Ally is trying to get away from that, because since the emergence of all of the latest evidence, they can no longer hold on to that. So now they are trying to create a new narrative. So as you see, these Muslims, they are running out of room. They're running out of excuses. The deck of cards of Islam, people, is shattering before your very eyes.
Full scales, Brother Kenny. What they're ignoring is that if they look at their manuscripts, one of the most celebrated manuscripts.
Let's go back.
That the Muslims in general have, but they're gonna prey on that misunderstanding. So the misunderstanding that Muslims in general have, Brother Kenny, and we've all been subjected to this, because, you know, at some point or another, we have been told the Quran is totally perfect as we have it now, dot for dot, letter for letter, everything is in place, preserved as it was. So that at one time, even I thought that the Tashkent manuscript.
You see, he's trying to get away from it. He's trying to get away from that claim because of the latest evidence and from that latest admittance by Yazir Quadri, who was interviewed by Muhammad Hijab. That's what he's trying to do right now. You got to catch what Shabir Ally does. He's a fast, slick talker. He sounds educated and all, like he using, you know, like he's educated and whatever, but he's really saying nothing. He can be easily dismantled. I could go up on that show if Kenny Bomer, Cupcake, coward Kenny Bomer would have allowed me on that show. I would have went up there and embarrassed Shabir Ally. I had a whole slew of documentation ready. I had hadiths ready on the very subject they talking about now. I had a whole bunch of questions, but Kenny Bomer, he knows not to mess with me. Kenny Bomer knows not to mess with Brother Jacob, because I will be like a monkey wrench in their engine, because these Muslims, they betting on people to be ignorant. The last person they need on their debate is somebody like a Brother Jacob, because it will interrupt, you know, the little program that they have. They want weak people to come up on their panel. Okay?
And the top copy Serai manuscript of the Quran, that these codexes are exactly as we have it now, because that's what we have been told, and we didn't have the acumen to investigate all of this. But it's a later investigation, and sometimes through the work of missionaries, they have pointed out to us that no, it is not so. Like the Tashkent copy is not a complete copy of the Quran, neither is the top copy Serai right? And in any case, they don't correspond precisely 100% to what we are reciting today, because there could be a mistake here, a mistake there, and so on in those old copies. So they're using that information to befuddle the average Muslim. It's only on further investigation that we realize, we don't really say as a matter of faith that I believe in the Tashkent copy of the Quran. Like, that's not a Muslim article of faith. When I say Aman to...
Now, all of a sudden, it's not a Muslim article of faith. Now, all of a sudden, you see how they are? You see how they having to back up and back away from everything that they've been saying? That's what I wanted you all to see. Now, it's not an article of faith to say that the Quran has been preserved down to the single dot, because now the spotlight is on you. It's on you, and you have been exposed. So now Dr. Shabir Ally, he has to come in and play cleanup man. That's what the Muslims are doing right now. They having to clean up all of the disasters that's been made. Okay? YouTube has destroyed Islam.
I believe in God and his angels and his messengers and his books. We don't say we believe in the one that is in Tashkent or the one that is in Tashkent Museum.
Liar, that's what you were saying. Now he's trying to say we never said that we believe in the oneness, that all of the manuscripts have been preserved down to the single dot. But that's what y'all been telling us all this time. Now you're trying to back away from it. You see how these Muslims are? You can't trust a single word that they say. Now he want to laugh it off. No. We're not going to let you laugh it off, man. Because it's so many videos of Muslim imams all over YouTube bragging about it. The Quran has been preserved down to the single dot, to the single letter. But now, since that claim has been busted, now you want to back away from it. No, we're not going to let you do that.
Right. So we believe in the books of God, including the Quran. But now there's a question, what exactly is the Quran? And we would say the Quran is that which has been revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, and is now recited by Muslims in 10 ways, which are referred to as 10 qira'at. And that's our belief. We believe in this as the Quran is the word of God. We don't really believe in a particular manuscript. So if it shows that an old manuscript has a variant or has a mistake, this is nothing new, because in the ancient world, this is natural. And when you say equal scales, Brother Kenny, what they're ignoring.
Now all of a sudden is nothing new. Now all of a sudden is nothing new because we have exposed it. But that's not what y'all was saying all the while. Now he's trying to brush it away and brush it under the rug. But before, it was the Quran has been preserved down to the single dot and to the single letter. Now he's moving away from that and saying that, all of a sudden, that's not one of our articles of faith. It's the recitation. It's the recitation. But it's too late for that. That's what I wanted to show y'all. They busted themselves. They just proved that they are wretched. Let's go back and show you that. Let's go back and show you. They both admitted they were wretched according to what their prophet said. Let's show you. Let's show you again. What does it say? Wretched is the man. Wretched is the man who says, I forgot such and such a surah, or I forgot such and such a verse, but he has been made to forget. So no, it was no mistake on your behalf. And also, by him saying that it was a mistake, you know what he's saying? He's saying that Allah made a mistake. But what did their prophet say? It's Muhammad, it's Allah who calls you to make that mistake. It's Allah who calls you to forget. So you're saying it was a mistake, but really it wasn't. So you're saying that Allah made a mistake. No, you are wretched because you first said you forgot something. And it says, wretched is the man who says, I forgot such and such a surah, or I forgot such and such a verse, but he has been made to forget. And I already know they'll say, oh, I didn't say forgot. I said mistake. What you think you're talking about? Mistake, forgot. You're talking about, when you said mistake, that means you are talking about a part of the surah when you was reciting it and you messed up because you said it the wrong way. So that is forgot. Forgot is when you do something and you miss part of it. So mistake, forgot, it's the same thing. They'll try to play with those words. I already know what they're going to try to say, but it's too late for that because it's proven that the mistake is forgotten, because that's why I showed the part when Shabir Ally was saying that the imam will be reminded if he forgets something, he will be prompted by 2 or 3 other Muslims that's listening to him at the moment. And they'll say, oh, Imam, you forgot this. So no, the Imam didn't forget or make a mistake. It was Allah who caused you to forget. So don't forget that next time. It was Allah who caused you to forget. And that says a lot about their God. Why would God Almighty make you forget his words? Okay, he even made Muhammad forget. Do we have to bring that hadith up? Let's bring it up. Do we have to bring that up? Do we have to bring that up? Let's show you. Let's show you. We don't play around. We don't play around. I didn't really want to rehatch this because I already did a video about this, but we going in. What does it say? Narrated Aisha. Allah's messenger heard a man reciting the Quran at night and said, may Allah bestow his mercy on him, as he has reminded me of such and such verses of such and such surahs, which I was caused to forget. Who caused Muhammad to forget? It was Allah who caused Muhammad to forget. What kind of God causes his prophets to forget his word? We talking about the eternal words of Allah. What kind of God causes his prophet to forget his eternal words? Does that make sense? What kind of God is that? Isn't that something the devil's supposed to do? Make you forget about the words of God? So you have Allah playing the part of Satan, okay? Because he is Satan. And what does Surah 2:106 say? Do we have to bring? I really didn't want to rehatch all of that, but Surah 2:106 says that whatever verse that Allah abrogates or calls to be forgotten, that he will replace it with a similar verse or a better verse. So even in this hadith, if they want to claim that the Quran is preserved, then what happened to the verses that Muhammad forgot when he was caused to forget? Okay, what happened to those verses? Because according to Surah 2:106, Allah was supposed to replace those verses with a better verse or a similar verse. And in the hadith before you, it proves that Surah 2:106 is false, because it says that a man reminded Muhammad of the same verses. It didn't say he told Muhammad a better verse or a similar verse. So you can use this hadith in itself, this hadith right here, to disprove that the Quran is preserved. So we spoke about that on the other video I did. So I'm not going to rehatch all of that. But even I could use that argument that the Quran is not preserved, because it says, Muhammad says he was caused to forget. Surah 2:106 says that if he forgot anything, Allah would replace it with a similar or better verse. So why did Allah fulfill his promise? So that proves that the Quran is false in itself. So however you spin it, they in a dilemma. You know what I mean? Like, and this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all, when you hear this video, I want you to go to the Kenny Bomer channel and ask him, why is he so afraid of Brother Jacob? Just to see what he say. Just to make fun of him. Why are you, ask him, Kenny Bomer, why are you so afraid of Brother Jacob? Just to see what he say. Because I want to challenge him to a debate. I want you all who subscribe to my channel, go to Kenny Bomer's channel and ask him, when are you going to give Brother Jacob his debate that you promised him? He promised me a debate. Ask him, why is he so afraid of Brother Jacob? And that's what I want you all to do. And I'm going to end this video right now. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And hit the likes button and subscribe to the channel. And this is Brother Jacob signing out.